Do you know what it could be totally reliant upon? The form of Marcus Rashford. Like, that could be... Well, basically, you and I have totally differing opinions on pretty much everything today. It's weird. But in terms of where Manchester United finish, we're poles apart.
What does Rashford finish his season on? Goals in the Premier League?
Premier League goals
is it 0? Is it 0 or 1? No, it's not, is it?
Sub 10.
Yeah, so he gets 9. So let's say he gets 9.
So that's 8 more goals between now and the end of the season.
Yeah,
it's
not great. It's rubbish.
Enough. It's nowhere near enough.
If it wins 4, 5, 6 games.
But he's meant to be Manchester United's top goal scorer.
You know me. I think he's.
But without his goals,
you know
say he does end the season with 8.
Yeah.
Premier League goals.
Garnacho 8. Hoyland
no.
8.
You can't go Garnacho 8. Garnacho hasn't scored all season.
Garnacho will get 6,
but he hasn't
7,
scored
8.
all season. Okay, you're saying these things as if if I just went to you, Ben Chilwell scores 10 this season.
Yeah, but I think Garnacho's got it in him to score 8.
But why though? Also, we're talking Premier League, not
fine. Premier League. All right, 5, 6 between them, they can spread it a little bit if they get it right with Ten Hag.
I just don't see it. Can you put your finger on what's happened to Marcus Rashford? Like, do you have a theory? You have a theory about everything. Come on, let's hear your Marcus Rashford theory.
I just don't think he was ever that good. I think he had a bit of...
30 was a bit misleading and therefore...
I don't think he's... With a player, you can tell if they're not scoring, do they contribute? And Marcus Rashford doesn't link up play very well. If the high line of a defence isn't there and the side are playing deep, Rashford's got no technical ability, no nous to break through sides. He's not a generational talent. He's a good Premier League winger. There's nothing wrong with that. And if they had a prime Cristiano Ronaldo, a prime Gareth Bale next to him, whoever it is, world-class wingers next to him, he would do well.
But he's not carrying the team.
If he's the most interesting world-class player they've got going forward, that's why they are where they are. He's no good, mate.
Do you not think that he has? Do you not think that he has it in him to be the Manchester United focal point up front? Then you don't think he's that good?
Mourinho said it years ago, and I always listen to Mourinho with the utmost respect.
What?
Yeah, Mourinho said in a Sky studio, he said,
"Right, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I just have to let you know something very important. It is the international break, which means there is no Super 6 this week, but next week it will be back. So." Use this as a bit of downtime. Treat it as a spa break. Think about who you are. Think about your ball knowledge and come back even stronger next week. Super 6 will be back next week. And remember, all you need to do to play is simply download the Super 6 app, predict 6 scores correctly. And if you do that, you will win £250,000. Join our mini league. The code is Club23. Enjoy the rest of the clip.
I tried Rashford number 9, essentially. He's not a number 9. His first touch isn't good enough. His positional awareness isn't good enough. He likes to have space to run into, and he's instinctive, and he gets that finish off. There was a chance against Luton. He had all the time in the world, and he kind of scuffs his touch, and it's just like, mate...
That has to end up in the back of the net, doesn't it?
I think he's one of these players that doesn't want to be main man. He wants to be number 3, and you pick up your goals being the third option, not everyone has to be David Beckham.
Yeah,
I think he thinks he has to take the world on, and he's done very well in the political sphere in terms of helping people out in that regard. And I'm not.
What about the off the pitch stuff then? This is interesting. Do you think this is contributing to his poor form?
No.
Do you care that he was in China Whites on his birthday off the back of losing the derby?
I would, as a United fan, I would, and that's not to criticise young blokes going out celebrating their birthday. But you can be savvy, especially with money. Some people don't have money in the world and they can't be savvy. They just go out and do their own thing. Rashford's got all the money in the world. I'm sure he's got a PR team around him, his agent or whatever. Why are you publicly going to a club after losing?
Yeah.
I thought
especially the derby as well, as the Manc born and bred player. There's I don't know where I sit on that one, because on one hand, I kind of think he is totally capable and totally forgiven in celebrating his birthday. But then the other side of me goes, there are very few pitfalls to being a Premier League footballer. You live a very privileged life. Everything is great. You can basically do anything you want. One of the things that you can't do is go clubbing after a defeat, because the optics and the world won't accept it. Whether you should or shouldn't be able to accept it isn't the point. The world will frown upon that because you've lost the derby. And fans who potentially would have gone out, some fans that potentially would have gone out that night won't, because they'll be too disappointed. They won't want to see their icon out celebrating. The other thing, right, and this is probably just me being weird, right? I find it really odd when anyone over the age of 20, 21 celebrates their birthday as if it's like you know my 5-year-old, she's going to be 5. We're organising our birthday party now, and she's talking to me. She wants a unicorn on the invite, and it's going to be a unicorn themed party, and no boys allowed, and whatever, right? And that's sweet because she's 4. It's her birthday. Celebrate your birthday, and I find it really odd when adults go, I can't do that. It's my birthday. I've got to do this. I'm like, are you 6?
Yeah.
Do you know?
No, I agree on. I do agree on some level, but especially when you had the responsibility that he has at Man United.
Yeah.
Just have a private thing in your house.
In your house. Yeah.
Sake.
Go out for dinner. Go out for dinner and get the private room. The private room at Hakkasan. I'd have come.
Would you?
I'd love to. Oh, yeah, I'd have gone.
I thought you didn't rate birthdays.
No, I rate them.
Except Marcus Rashford's
No,
birthday.
I just
you
don't
wanna
know
get
what I
invited
don't
to.
understand, right? You know, when it's my birthday,
Yeah.
I'm like, if you want to, me and my missus probably go out for dinner.
Yeah.
Might have a little gathering.
Yeah.
But I'm not 8.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need the world to stop because it happens to be 365 days since I last made the world stop. It's a weird one for me. But do you think there's any jeopardy in Marcus Rashford's England place going into a Euros?
I always think there was with Grealish playing the way he just won the treble. Someone like Cole Palmer coming into the kind of fray. I just don't think he's good enough to start. Don't forget, you only play 6-7 games. If you make it far in the Euros, what are we playing? 8 games? 6 games? Whatever it is, 6, 7, 8 games.
7, isn't it?
If we get to the final and win it. Do you trust Rashford to play any of those games except the weaker group stage games to rotate? Against Germany, France, Spain, Italy in a knockout game, you fire the ball into Rashford's lumpy first touch. It goes 5 yards in the air. No way. Well, it depends. Do you want to win the Euros?
Okay. Are England good enough up front to not take Marcus Rashford? Can England be leaving out a Manchester United forward?
You take him on the plane, but he's your second or third sub. But you don't. If you need to change the game,
the front three for you for England would be Harry Kane through the middle, obviously.
Saka
on one side, Grealish on the other.
Yeah.
And then let's say an injury occurs to one of the 2 wide players. Who are you thinking then? Foden.
Yeah. I don't want Rashford starting games for England.
Would Cole Palmer, considering the form, this is a bit ridiculous from me, is it? Is Cole Palmer ahead of Marcus Rashford in a meritocracy?
He would be for me, but the issue with Cole Palmer is he ahead of James Maddison positionally or Bellingham? Because you want him central.
The problem with what you think he
Cole Palmer's, if anything, is a winger. If you had to play him as a winger, he's a right winger because he did it at City, and then he's playing with Saka and Foden can play right wing. So he's in a tough spot. It's a little bit too late in his trajectory to get into starting 11s for England, unless there's a mass injury crisis going into Germany.
Oh no, he'll go though, Palmer, surely. I think Palmer, Gallagher, and
Prowse isn't in the squad.
Palmer, Gallagher, and Sterling from Chelsea all have to go.
Not Sterling.
Really?
Not Sterling.
Would you? Okay, if you had to pick, England are 2-1 down to France in a semi-final in Gelsenkirchen.
Yeah.
Who are you bringing on? Grealish goes down injured. You've got Rashford and Sterling on the bench. Who are you bringing on?
Yeah, but I wouldn't pick either. I'd have Phil Foden because Phil Foden doesn't start for me in my England 11.
Is Phil Foden as effective a winger on that side as Raheem Sterling? Like, this isn't about is he a better player?
You'd rather have Foden.
You would.
You're
mate.
chasing a game and you fire into Sterling. The guy was slipping all over the place yesterday. Like, do you know what I mean? It was a bit embarrassing. He was still fantastic.
Sterling, he was a man of the match by a mile.
There's
Slipping all over the place, embarrassing.
Yeah, but he was falling over. Mate, some of his touches were still... you have to be honest as a football fan. So, yeah, 4-4 draw's great. Sterling was nutmegging people. He had a point to prove. He was trying to slide... He was trying to break Phil Foden's leg in a challenge at the end of the game. Round of applause, right?
He
still had some really bad moments where you're thinking, the touch, he was through on goal in the first half, wasn't he? And his touch took him out for a corner. He's more interested in his touch taking the ball towards the corner flag.
Lawrence Belvoir, you have had... He's
bad. More interested in going towards the Matthew Arden stand as opposed towards the 2 posts where the goal is in
This
football.
has never happened to me before. I'm a very resilient man.
Yeah.
But you've left me both full of ire and
Why can't you take... pluses and negatives in any performance? No one's perfect in a football game. He had some bad moments in the Chelsea City game. Bad touches, surely.
Of course.
Yeah.
But when you appraise something, you generally go with the majority. He was man of the match.
Yeah.
So flagging where it went wrong for him. Like, I'm sure when Erling Haaland scored a hat-trick against Manchester United, I'm sure that he had a few bad moments.
Yeah, of course.
But he scored a hat-trick against Man United, so he's man of the match.
Yeah, but I'm flagging his weaknesses as an England fan because his weaknesses will be exemplified in tournament football where you don't have you have 38 games in the Euros to get your touch right.
Jack Grealish goes down injured. There are 30 minutes to save England's tournament life.
Rashford over Sterling then. If it has to be.
Right.
I'd rather have neither.
You're sacked. No, you're sacked.
Rashford over Sterling.
You're sacked as England man.
So why is Rashford on the plane? Why is Rashford on the plane? Sterling's not even on the plane. I'm backing my manager, Southgate. Southgate's made a call. Your boy, Sterling, right? He's currently 10th in the Premier League. He's not on the plane to the Euros.
I hate you. You're completely incorrect, and I'm sure that the comments will guarantee that you know that.